The EU, switching focus, is proposing trade restrictions on about 24 companies, including 3 based in China, accused of supporting Russia's war efforts in Ukraine. If adopted, the restrictions would be the first the EU has imposed on mainland Chinese firms since Russia invaded Ukraine. Bloomberg's Faries joins us now for the details. Bill, what do we know then about these companies? And what's the significance of potentially, because it hasn't been signed off yet, potentially going after these 3 Chinese firms?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Tom, this is still a proposal at this point. It could certainly change before all the EU members have to decide whether to ratify it or not. But we're talking about electronics and technology companies, more than a dozen. 3 of which are believed to be inside China. There's some in other countries like India and Thailand as well. And it would restrict their ability, it would restrict the ability of European companies to trade with these firms. The firms are believed to basically be importing goods and re-exporting them to Russia. And according to the draft and the people involved in it, these firms are, in effect, helping Russia's military-industrial complex in the war in Ukraine by doing so. It's interesting that it goes after these 3 Chinese firms. It would be the first time that these effectively EU sanctions target Chinese companies. It shows the continued focus on trying to ratchet things down, add pressure on Russia over the war in Ukraine. There's still obviously people investigating which companies might be facilitating that. And it's also a little bit of a shot across the bow to Beijing, I think, just a warning to try to stay out of this war, that there will be consequences if China is seen as aiding the Russian war effort.
And Bill, you made the point, it is a proposal. What is the time frame that we're looking at then to know whether or not this will get signed off, whether or not this will actually be put into action and enforced?
Well, yeah, that's the big question right now. We know that there were other Chinese firms that were looked at in earlier versions of this that got removed. There's obviously a lot of sensitivity around trade with China and which companies you can trade with or not. So it's not clear. We need to have all the EU members agree to this if it's going to take place. So that process, it could still be a matter of weeks at the very least before we see this come into effect.